You have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
I don't worry about the Constitution on this, to be honest.
When it's starting to get arrogant and when you start to see government literally just disregarding 60% of the population, that's a huge sign that things need to change.
The people in Washington did whatever they wanted to do, and that was it.
It's time to flip this house.
What's happening in America right now is no accident. The big government statists have a plan, and they are systematically implementing their plan. That's why it's not enough for us to just have ideas. We need a plan that will serve as a framework for reestablishing liberty and limited government. And we must hold candidates accountable to this plan so that the elections translate into real change.
I'm tired of this administration and this Congress having their hands in my grandchildren's piggy bank. It's unfair, and I'm not going to let it happen if I can do anything about it.
Big government is the enemy of our liberties, and the best way to rein in big government is to strictly limit how much the government can get. Last year, for example, the federal government consumed 27% of the economy. When you add in state and local government expenses, that total rises to more than 44%. That's just too much. Let's give them an allowance of no more than 20% of the overall economy.
We need to have a strong government, but we need to have a limited government. And we need to limit what it's doing based upon the Constitution to be strong and be effective.
Federal taxation is excessive in its amount and oppressive in its scheme. The Founding Fathers, they would have revolted long ago if they faced the current tax scheme. The solution is clear. Abolish the income tax and establish one consolidated federal tax that is not hidden or obscured and every American can understand. It's time to end the oppression of the IRS and put the people in charge of our government once again.
We need to put a time limit of how much time they can serve in there.
Some things that they may have felt passionate about in the beginning, they may not feel about the same thing 10 years from now.
Our founders rejected a ruling class, but our broken system has given incumbents so much power that they now rule over us with little or no regard for the people. That's why we must impose term limits. No citizen should be asked to serve more than 12 years in either the House or the Senate, or perhaps a total of 18 years. Step aside and we'll find someone else to represent us.
I'm against socialism, and I know people will say, well, we're not looking for socialism, but if the government owns primarily everything, then that's socialism.
We simply must purge our nation of its socialistic appetite and return these businesses to the private sector where they belong. In the post-Obamacare world, for example, more than half of all Americans earn their living through the government or in a government-controlled industry. Banking, finance, healthcare, insurance, the mortgage industry, the auto industry, they've all been overrun by our government. And they're not done. In order to flip this House in 2010, we must find and support candidates who will purge socialism as a top priority.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
You have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
This is what change looks like. I don't worry about the Constitution on this, to be honest.
This election, we cannot afford to be fooled by smooth-talking politicians. Otherwise, we will once again swap one set of big government politicians for yet another. We must demand that they support a specific plan that will restore liberty and limited government.
It's time.
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time to flip this house.